Raj. I am the CEO and founder director of Transport&logistics Private Limited. The company was founded in 2004, and we primarily started off as in the space of warehousing and stores management, and subsequently moved into something called critical logistics space. And within critical logistics, we basically look at two key areas or segments. One is movement of high monetary value, which we call it as SQL secure, and the other is the movement of life science and pharmaceutical products, which requires temperature control and special handling, and this we call it as SQL Life Care. So these two segments essentially looks at segments which requires specific kind of understanding of the market, a solutioning which needs to be done based on a client-to-client basis, and to be able to deliver the consistent, reliable, and of course a commercially viable and a sustainable solution as well. In the diamond and jewelry international business, we along with our international partner help in both the import and the export of jewelry, as well as cut and polished stones and diamonds. So this is import of the rough diamond into the country, and we move it specifically to Surat, and once it is cut and polished, it again some of them are re-exported and some of them are used for the domestic business as well. The other area that we have extensively worked over a period of time is on the commodities as well, which essentially entails importation of refined bullion bars, and these are gold bars, as well as the silver bricks, and also unrefined or 90% refined gold, which is called doré, which is also imported into the country and then refined by the refineries, the authorized refineries in India. So SQL does movement of both the refined as well as the doré into the country. This year we've also started off our free trade warehousing zone in Kandla, Gujarat. So here we had set up an exclusive facility for importation of silver bullion into the country through the Kandla port, where it is declared as a free trade warehousing zone. And the advantage of a free trade warehousing zone is that it is considered as a deemed foreign territory, which means that you don't have to make an customs payout at the time of import. But once it is imported, you can then seek your orders, and based on smaller lots of orders, you can only discharge that amount of duty, and then it also gets delivered within a very short transit period to the client. In the commodities business, the importation actually starts with the suppliers, as we call them. So these are supplying banks, the international banks, who basically sell the gold, which is stored in various vaults across the world, primarily in London, Zurich, Dubai, Singapore. So these are primary areas where the gold and bullion is vaulted. And there are nominated agencies in India who are licensed to import the bullion, gold and silver. So this includes most of the Indian banks as well as non-banks as well. So when the importer chooses to buy, so they decide and fix a price, and then the gold is then moved or picked up from a vault in any of these locations, and then we move it to the Indian shores, typically by air. In case of silver, we also move it by sea, and then we do the customs clearance, and then it is vaulted. So there is an initial place of vault, which is the port of destination as per the bill of entry, and then from there, if the gold is required in any other part of the country, we also do a movement to the other authorized vault, and from there the servicing happens. So the importing bank would then seek orders from their buyers, who could typically be a jeweler, or it can also be a large bullion player, who then buys the gold from the importing bank. And that movement is then either picked up by the buyer itself, which is called a window delivery, or we do a door delivery at the doorstep of the jeweler. The supply chain then further goes on, where the jeweler, after buying the raw gold, then uses it for manufacturing of jewelry, either in-house or outsourced. So there is a movement involved there as well. And once the jewelry is made, then there is a movement to different retail outlets across the country for sale. So there is a movement involved in that piece as well. And there is also a reverse logistics element, which is that people exchange the old gold for purchase of new jewelry. So the logistics player then brings back the old gold to the warehouse of the jeweler, where it is then remelted, and then it's again used for further jewelry making.